Everybody click the comment and watch the video for context, but this is about the surrogacy case. To which, Snuggles here says, her body, her choice, and then leaves a picture. The picture that he left is a Google search, AI search, that says, can you physically, and you made sure to put the word physically in there, can you physically force someone to commit and consent to an abortion procedure? Do you not know what the word physically means? Physically means more than just saying, hey, you signed a contract. Physically means somebody would have had to go in there and hold her down, tie her down, strap her down, and perform the procedure against her wishes. That would be physically forcing someone. At the 20-week ultrasound, the 20-week anatomy scan, where this birth defect, this heart defect, was first found, the couple that are the parents to Rumi and the surrogate were all seen by other doctors after there to confirm the diagnosis first and foremost, and then to give a prognosis. What kind of quality of life will this fetus have once it is born and severed from the placenta? And the placenta is no longer doing what it's supposed to be doing, okay? And the heart has to take over everything to oxygenate the blood, right? It was after seeing these specialists that the biological parents of the fetus in there, the fetal material, stated that they would like to have the abortion and then try again. Okay? To which the surrogate agreed. The surrogate agreed to. She even made the appointment herself. She went to the clinic herself. The biological parents weren't there to drive her. They weren't there to coerce her. They weren't there to force her. Nobody was there. She went by herself after she made the appointment. And it is my belief that when she went to the abortion clinic, that's when she ran into the anti-abortionists that have those pregnancy crisis centers. You know, the ones that are out there yelling and screaming, why would you dare get rid of one of God's precious little creatures? Because the surrogate left. She checked in for her appointment, but before the procedure was even performed, she left. And then she went to the parents, the biological parents, and said, I simply can't do this. And the biological parents said, okay, we understand. This is a very hard choice and we would never force you to do it. So plan B comes in. Plan B is, well, now we have to prepare for a medically fragile child that is going to need surgery almost immediately after birth. By the way, baby Rumi right now is in open heart surgery. Okay? Whether or not he comes out of it is a coin flip. 50-50 chance. 50% chance that he dies on the table. 50% chance that he comes out brain dead. And a 50% chance that he will go on to go to his next surgery in a couple of years. And heaven forbid if this kid needs a heart transplant. Okay? This woman has had children before of her own. This woman, this surrogate, is a nurse. So she knows quite well how pregnancy develops, how it progresses, how things can actually go wrong. She's a nurse. She knows the devastating effects of this severe heart defect. She knows good and well that at any time this child could succumb to his defect. And yet she chose to flee. Instead of moving to California when it was time for the baby to be born, so that the baby could be born in California, okay, and the biological parents could have continuity of care. That way their child gets to see the best heart surgeons that they can find in California, and they will be seeing that child throughout his medical journey. And instead of doing that, she flees. She flees to Texas, gets a temporary protection order signed, 12 hours before she ends up giving birth. So that means that 20 weeks, halfway through the pregnancy, a normal pregnancy is 35 to 40 weeks. That is carrying to term, 35 to 40 weeks. So 20 weeks to 35 weeks, that's 15 weeks. 15 weeks. Up to 40 weeks. It took her that long. She was that scared that it took her that long to leave. Even after she wasn't forced to have the procedure, even after the biological parents of the genetic material in which she's carrying wants to take care of that genetic material once it's born and have continuity of care, she leaves. Now, this brings into my little conspiracy that she met one of those anti-abortionists out there at the abortion clinic that she made the appointment with and went to. Because, see, while she would know that Texas has really strict, draconian abortion laws, what she wouldn't have known, though, is that in the state of Texas, doesn't matter if you're a surrogate or not, the person who gives birth to the child is considered the mother and put on the birth certificate as the child's mother. The reason why I say this is because the pro-life coalition that is doing all of this and paying for these lawsuits and everything, they're paying all of her legal bills. Okay, they have already stated before a trial is even commenced that they will fight this all the way to the Supreme Court. Why go all the way to the Supreme Court over something like this? Nobody physically held her down and forced her to have this medical procedure. She didn't have this medical procedure. She had her choice. She made her choice to not do it. And then she made her choice to go to the parents and say, I'm not comfortable with doing this. Is there something else that we can do? And the biological parents said, sure, we don't have a problem with that. Now let's deal with the fact that we're fixing to have a medically fragile child. And whether or not this woman should have had an abortion, should have done this, should have done that, is a moot point now. Because little baby Rumi is here. And little baby Rumi underwent open heart surgery at 7 days old today. Actually, 53 minutes ago, it was alerted that he was taken back to open heart surgery. So this 7-day-old infant is having open heart surgery even as we speak. And there's a 50% coin toss chance that he might not make it through this first surgery. Even if he makes it through this surgery, there is no guarantee that he will make it through the next two or that he won't eventually need a heart transplant because of this. We will have no idea how bad Rumi's quality of life can be until after this first surgery. This case should be handled in family court. It shouldn't be even handled by any other court system but the family court. This is a custody issue at this point. Nothing else. Custody issues go to family court. This has nothing to do with abortion in any way, shape, form, or fashion because she was never forced to have the procedure. She always had and made her own choices. She made her own choices to flee with someone else's genetic material too, knowing that that genetic material was going to be born and be somebody else's child. She's paying for that decision too. She's probably going to have to pay the biological parents back a lot of money because she got paid for doing that service. Anyway, nobody physically forced her. Okay? So,